Transparency is the key to trust. Bihar SIR was a complete failure if the Supreme Court fails to see very simple things. No, so thing is, Election Commission tells you half lies. They are not even half truths, they are half lies. First is, it was not an open challenge. It was open challenge only for the political parties.
Every election season in India, one phrase explodes across TV debates, WhatsApp groups and political rallies: EVM manipulation. Same has happened since NDA's landslide victory in Bihar. Are India's electronic voting machines really tamper-proof, or is the truth more complicated? Today, we talk with Dr. Madhav Deshpande, a computer scientist and architect of several path-breaking softwares in the world. We sit with him to break down the myth and try to understand this oft-repeated claims and counterclaims about EVM manipulation and the larger issue of data theft and data privacy in India. Welcome, Dr. Deshpande. Welcome to Eedina. So, you have been talking about EVM manipulation for quite some time, and Bihar election have just passed. So, every time there are election and opposition loses, there is this cry from opposition about EVM manipulation, but it dies as soon as it starts. But you are the one who have been consistently talking about EVM manipulation for more than 3 years. Why is it so?
Good point. Yes, see, it's manipulation or otherwise, any tampering is not either proved or disproved by the result that you get. The proof is in the process. The proof has to come from outside of that result data sheet. It has to come from the data, it has to be verified, and the data has to corroborate. Not only EVMs, the entire election system is electronic. We have to recognize that first, that we have a, as I call it, electronic election system. Whereas, while we have this electronic election system, which is all about data, all our governing processes to secure that data are manual. Like, we lock the EVM machines with physical locks.
Yes.
That doesn't work with electronics. If you close down you lock the server of the bank, you can still access the data from your phone. Server may be locked, the building may be locked, but the server is available because you can reach, it's an electronic device, you can reach it from outside. I'm not saying EVMs are reached from outside. The point is, it has to be locked electronically. So whatever data has gone into the electronic data store of that EVM has to be locked so that any other data or even change in this data can be known, can be immediately detected. And these electronic locks are proven, they're used for last 3-4 decades now, 4.5 decades. So the thing is new. Same with electronic roll, the electoral roll that we have. The problem with today's electoral roll and the electronic data that we have is, whatever we see, first is we do not see all the information that is stored about us. All the data that we have given to Aadhaar, to electoral roll, to census, to our driving license, ration card, what have you, all that is digitally stored. But we do not know whether what is shown to us is only that much is the stored data, or is there more stored but they don't show it to us. When we had physical data registers, we could see the data. You know, you go sit with the officer, he would show you your entry and you would see everything on the paper. Now, it is very easy to mask some data. So I'll give an example. For example, in the electoral roll, if there is name, age, next of kin, name, relationship, and maybe your address, these 5 things that is what we know. If there are extra things that are stored, coming from census, coming from Aadhaar, we have no way to know. So in digital world, transparency is the key. Transparency is the key to trust. Transparency is the key to to assurance. Transparency is the key to ethical behavior, moral behavior, and even confidence that we have. And that is why when we say that EVMs are tampered, it is not necessarily only the machine that is tampered. It starts the entire process, electoral roll to vote counting and results. Everything has to be transparent. Unfortunately, everything is opaque today. So, and what mistake people make is they think that the opposition or the winning party, it doesn't matter. I am very apolitical in that sense, in this respect. Whosoever loses will say that it was unfair because the result was not in their favor. That's not the right argument. You have to see whether the process was fair. If the process is not fair, for example, if there is nothing that tells you that data did not change from end of polling day to the beginning of counting electronically, don't tell me that I give you form 17C which says so many votes. It says so many votes, yes. Let's say one box has 1,000 votes. Party A could be 400 votes, party B could be 200, party 3 could be 300. Now, the next box, if I change this box with another box, that could also have 1,000 votes. But the composition of those votes would be different. And how would I know?
ನನಗಿಷ್ಟ ನಂದಿನಿ ತುಪ್ಪ ಶುದ್ಧ ತುಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ನಂದಿನಿ.
Unless there is an electronic lock which tells me if one single vote has also been changed, which is what is called a checksum or hash sum. It is like you have your bank statement, you have opening balance, you have transactions, some money is withdrawn, some money is deposited. You do all addition, subtraction, and you come to a closing balance. If that bank statement says, yeah, this closing balance is 1,000 rupees and your calculation says it is 1,000, you believe this. Is there something like this? No.
But opposition has been asking about VVPAT and comparing some of the VVPAT result with the counted vote. And is that not enough?
No, it is not, for the simple reason VVPAT should be completely...
of VVPATs.
Exactly. It has to be... What is wrong with... Given that... Let's take a step back. Given that this system does not have electronic locks, which means that, yes, machines can be swapped. There is no electronic pairing also. You don't know, you cannot prove electronically that a given control unit and VVPAT combination was the same that was used on the polling day and on the counting day. This you cannot prove electronically. You have to believe that number that is printed. If that is the status of electronic system where everything is electronic, then you have to have something which corroborates it. Besides, what the whole reason of VVPAT was that the voter gets to see who he or she voted for on that slip. Now, everybody sees that slip. I voted for Apple, I saw the apple on the slip and I'm happy. I do not know whether Apple was saved or not. I have never seen that electronic vote. And you don't provide any checksum or hash sum saying that, okay, yes, this was right. Then you have to provide for 100% VVPAT count. Treat this, see, okay, even then we will have a win. Because earlier in manual systems where thappas were used, ballot papers,
yeah.
the stamping of the ballot paper would make many votes void, because somebody would stamp it between two names, somebody would stamp it beyond the area, so those void votes would be too many. Now in this there is no possibility of a void vote. There could be incorrect votes. I might want to vote for item number or candidate number 2, instead I might vote for 3. That's an incorrect vote. It's not a void vote. It's not invalid vote. So there is zero invalid vote. Treat this as a machine which only helps you stamping and count all the VVPAT slips. As it is, even during the manual counting, paper slip, paper ballot counting, we used to take 3 days to announce results. Now you're taking 3 days.
Yeah.
Plus with this electronic I call it Jamela that you have you have created. You declare percentages go up at will. So where is the reliability?
There are no
is
checks and balances also.
there are no checks and balances. There is no reliability. If let's say at 5 o'clock there are 100 people in the queue at a polling booth. Maybe at 7, maybe at 8, maybe at 9 o'clock, the last man or last person will vote. Why can't you declare that vote count at 9 o'clock? And it won't change. It can't change because electronic votes can't reproduce themselves, right? So if that count on that booth is 1200 at the end of, let's say 9 p.m., it will remain 1200. If this simple electronic check or verification cannot be provided by Election Commission, if it is unable to do that, if it is incompetent to do that, what is the reason why anybody should believe this electronic system? If you buy a calculator and you do 2 plus 2 100 times, will you ever get 5? And if you got 5, will you ever buy that calculator? You will not. So if this electronic device sometimes tells me it is 1200 votes, and then on second or third day when it is open for counting, that 1200 is counted as 1250. Even in Bihar, we have found that votes counted are more than the votes cast. How does that happen?
But people believed it. The results are there and it's forgotten.
No, I am not talking of the results. I would have said the same thing even if the opposition had won. I'm really not bothered about who wins. It is all about the system being transparent, reliable and trustworthy, which it is not. That is a problem. The system has to do its job. Let people do their job. People will vote somebody in, somebody out. That's their prerogative, that's their right, that's the way democracy works. And that's how it should be. But system should not be compromised. We have a compromised system. That's the problem.
So when we talk of electoral malpractices, and there's been a lot of talk about SIR as well, that it was not done properly, it was done very hastily, lakhs of voters were deleted, and even later after the alarm was raised, some of the voters were added. Despite all that, and you mentioned there are several levels where the manipulation can happen, and it starts with, in this case, electoral roll, and then coming to the EVM and later on the counting. And it all ties down to the data that you also mentioned about. So can we take it one step at a time, like what could go wrong in electoral rolls?
See, the first thing is, since you mentioned SIR, that Bihar SIR was a complete failure is borne out by the fact that after the Election Commission declared the final voter count, after finishing the SIR, they had to add 3 lakh voters.
Exactly.
That itself tells you it was a failure. As I say, if you buy a water filter and you take out a glass of water, and then if I am the person who sells you the water filter, I come back and say, oh, you know what, this is fine, but this may have some muddy water or some viruses, so why don't you put it through another filter? Would you trust that filter? Would you buy my filter? No, you would not. So how can we trust a commission which cannot even do its job properly, which has to add 3 lakh voters after the commission itself declared that this is a final roll? Nobody had forced them to declare that this was a final roll. They did that. And after that, they added 3 lakh. So SIR was a complete failure. One. As far as what we can do as citizens, I think what we need to do is we need to go back and ask for a completely transparent system. This opacity we have had enough. On one side, this election commissioner has the cheek to say that if somebody has duplicate EPIC card, that somebody is at fault, is a criminal. Now, if that somebody does not have the machinery, does not have the authority, does not even have the paper on which that card is printed, how that somebody, some common person, be held responsible for something for which he or she does not have the authority. The EPIC card can be printed with specific machines which are available with Election Commission of India, and Election Commission thinks that they are not responsible. Okay, you can hold a citizen responsible for applying twice. That is one thing. But then application has to be passed, right? Just doing an application online doesn't give you EPIC card. Somebody has to pass that application, verify it, pass it, and that authority is again with Election Commission. So that responsibility lies squarely and only with Election Commission. That's why I said he has the cheek to say that that duplicate card holder is at fault. No, sorry, Mr. Election Commissioner, you are at fault. It is your responsibility and you are not doing your job. You can't hold the common citizen responsible for a duplicate EPIC card. No, you should not have issued it. Even if the person applies every day of the year, you should reject all the 364 and honor only one. That is your job. That's why you are paid and you are there. You can't hold somebody for applying.
Secondly, coming to the EVM manipulation part, that EVM can be manipulated, there are various ways. And you also talk about this sample loading unit. So what are the many ways that it can be manipulated, and why it doesn't come up to be a big thing, this EVM manipulation before election also? And many times there are, from civil society as well, it comes that we should go back to ballot paper. So how do we navigate this and move? We all want transparency, but in the lack of transparency, what can be done?
True, and it's a great point, because, you know, I always say that going back to ballot paper is a regressive step. Yes. But if the Supreme Court fails to see very simple things, so I agree that Supreme Court doesn't know everything, but that is why there is a concept of amicus curiae, where you go out, seek expertise from outside, engage those people and get the truth out. If Supreme Court hasn't done that even once, they haven't even asked simple questions. I have personally made so many RTIs, over 30. Election Commission doesn't respond. They give you they don't give you any details whatsoever. Technical details. I'm not interested in finding out their other stuff. Technical details they don't divulge. You don't provide electronic locks. You don't provide any answers that are suggested. You don't have GPS tracking to know whether the units have moved from one place to another on the desired route or they were diverted. You don't even have simple things like this. Then what choice do you leave people other than going back to ballot paper? Because in electronics, it is always very easy, if there are no locks and checks and balances, very easy to change things. I'll give you an example.
But again and again, many times experts have come, we see videos all the time before and after election that EVM cannot be hacked, EVM cannot be tampered, and many people who show that it can be tampered. So there is a lot of confusion also about this among people. And when you muddy the water like this, people just give up.
No, so thing is, Election Commission tells you half lies. They are not even half truths, they are half lies.
Okay.
When they say we had given open challenge, people did not come. First is, it was not an open challenge. It was open challenge only for the political parties. Civilian citizens, independent citizens like me, even after asking, could not take part in the challenge. One. Second, when you give a challenge, you should allow people under your watch, record it, keep a camera, let people not do any hanky-panky. Absolutely true. You have video cameras nowadays. You can have 5 video cameras only focusing on that machine, so covering every angle. Do that, but let people open it. Let people power it on. Let them check what they want to check. You say, no, you can't touch anything. You can only operate it the way we tell you. Or you can look at it from outside and check. Who buys a car without test drive? No. You go, you want to buy maybe a vegetable, maybe potatoes. Even then you will check one as sample. You want to buy peanuts, you will taste one as sample. So testing is inherent. You don't allow people to do that and then tell half lie that we had given an open challenge and nobody could prove anything. How could anybody prove? If you don't let them even drive, if I design a car which turns right when you turn it to left, I don't let anybody drive it. I say you buy it, and then people meet with accidents, and then I say, oh, you know what? See, I had asked you, I had given you open challenge. You came there, you saw the car, and then you bought it, and now you are blaming me.
Maybe roads are faulty.
Maybe roads are faulty. Is that right? No, it's not. It's as much as that is right. Whatever Election Commission is claiming, that is the truth. They don't let anybody taste it. And see, the worst thing is, anyway, whatever is case, whatever it may be, what people need to demand consistently, I am not again worried about the political parties, but people need to demand complete transparency. We have to demand that electoral roll, all India level, not my constituency, not my booth, sorry, all India level, has to be searchable, available 24/7, every single moment as it is. Don't tell me this was as of yesterday evening or as of today morning. No. If I am testing it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it has to be as of 3 o'clock. And unless you do that, you can't hold me responsible even if there are 10 cards in my name, because you don't let me search.
They're making it even more difficult for the data to come out.
Exactly. And then, now if you see, if there are foul intentions and data is mixed, some data that is not supposed to be with the electoral roll is mixed somehow. I don't know how. I'm not even saying that it is mixed. But because we don't see anything, I have the freedom to imagine, right? Because I don't see. You don't show me, then I can imagine. So if I imagine, yes, you have the data of religion, caste, economic status, my living standards from census, transported and mixed with the electoral data. Now, there is so much of risk to democracy itself. And as a citizen, if you segregate me, that is not how the constitution or the concept of India, or not just India of post 1947, India of Ashoka's time also did not have this idea. We were inclusive. We included everybody. Why not? Why change that now? So Election Commission, we have to demand that it has to be transparent, and we will decide whether it is fair or not. They can't certify themselves, right?
You talked about data, and since Aadhaar came out, the government has been after people's data, and data is the next gold. And through census, through Aadhaar, through several exercises, government just wants to store more and more data of people. And there have been instances where people's Aadhaar data is stolen. You can buy it from different places. So this fear of data theft is real. How do we see this data theft in the times of this electoral malpractices and a government which is more and more opaque?
It is a serious challenge. And in fact, no matter what the National Informatics Center says, I mean, the other day I was looking at some data about census, and I checked with NIC portal, and NIC responded saying, this data is not available on anywhere else, it is not on Amazon servers, etc. Within 2 minutes of my search, I found that some company, XYZ, I don't want to name it, claimed that data about transport, data about property, data about this is available on AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. Now, NIC wanted me to believe that this data is not accessible through anybody else, and this guy is giving me that data. If I actually see the data, why should I believe NIC? See, that is the trust issue that we have. Yes, data breaches happen everywhere in the world. That is not new. It has been happening for more than a decade now. But not admitting. See, recognizing your failure is the first step to become successful. If you keep on telling yourself, no, I never failed, my data was never breached. You are not going to make any attempt to seal that bridge where somebody came in. That somebody will come in again and again and again. And you will keep on saying, no, data was not breached, and it will be available for a price for everybody.
And what to say to the people who say, okay, if data is available, what's the problem? I'm giving away my number anyway to every provision store that I go.
But that is your choice. That is your choice. If you start receiving phone calls from any Tom, Dick and Harry every day, you get worried, right? And secondly, it is absolutely incorrect to say that there is nothing like privacy. The nature works on privacy. I'll give you an example. When some animal in jungle goes to water, drink water, it doesn't announce to the tiger that I am going to water, right? It goes stealthily. When a tiger is stalking an animal, it doesn't announce to the animal, I am stalking you, I am going to kill you. It does it stealthily. That is their right to privacy. So it is so innate in nature. Your right to privacy is innate to nature. What you do with it is up to you. If you want to give it up, then it's your choice. But if you don't want to give it up, you shouldn't be forced to. If I want to give up my privacy, it is okay, my volition. I'm saying, okay, I don't care about my privacy. But you taking my data and giving it to somebody else, saying that, oh, he doesn't mind, what's their privacy? It's my, no, you can't take my decision for myself. No, I will take my decisions. So if you take the data because you have the authority to take the data, then it is your response. With authority comes responsibility. It is your responsibility to make sure that that data is secure, and nobody gets it unless I have permission. I have given permission for that person to take that data.
It is also for people to realize that their data is important and they should not be giving it
Absolutely.
so easily everywhere.
Yeah, so then government is governance, it's not rule. We have come to a stage where we say this state is ruled by BJP or this state is ruled by Congress. No, they don't rule, they govern. There is a difference. Yeah, it's not the ruling party, it's the governing party. Because ruling means you are bossing over the subjects. They are no more citizens. When you govern citizens who have the right to ask you questions and demand answers. When you rule, you have subjects who don't have the right to ask and demand answers. That distinction you have to make. So when you say you are governing some people, it is your responsibility to make sure that those people are not brought to any harm. Now, in today's world, harm is not physical necessarily. It is more digital. Because we have digital avatars. Like if you have an account in the bank, if somebody steals money from that online account, it's still harm, right? So bank takes data, keeps data for your money. It is bank's responsibility. Supreme Court has said that, right? Insurance company takes money from you, it's their responsibility to provide those services. Bank has a responsibility to provide. So why not government provide you services with responsibility? Because we don't look up to governments as governments. We look up to those people as rulers. Yeah. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Start asking questions and demand answers, because they are governing. They are there only because we chose them to be there. And the whole idea of this SIR is to take away that right for us to choose whether it is, again, which party, I don't care. As long as it is people's wish, it has to be true to the people's wish. And that is what the Election Commission is expected to do. Be truthful, be honest, be transparent, be responsible, be responsive. It is none of these today, unfortunately.
Thanks for enlightening us and coming to Eedina. Thank you, Dr. Deshpande.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We hope this discussion helped you understand the nuances of the electronic voting system and the genuine concerns people have around the opacity of the whole electoral process. For more such discussion, please follow, like, share and subscribe to eedina.com.
ಮತ್ತಷ್ಟು ವಿಶೇಷ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಲು ಮತ್ತು ಹೊಸ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಯಲು
eedina.com ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ
ಮತ್ತು ಬೆಲ್ ಐಕಾನ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ.